Have you ever kind of felt like you've been in like a now what spot? You know what I mean? Just like, okay, watched a great TED Talk, been inspired by John Maxwell. You're great, BP, like appreciate it. Nice message, good sermon, great leadership quote. Read that book, and then you just kind of come away going like, yeah, but what about me? You know, like what about right now? So you have to understand, and I hit it last week and I hit it again, that the beginning of leadership starts with you right here in this moment. So where do you start? You start with you. You start with you. By you getting better, by you becoming more responsible, more honest, and more committed, by you doing those things, it's inevitable that your relationships will get better, that your finances will get better, that your businesses will get better, that your dreams will get better, that all of it. Whatever you were to write down on a journal, like these are the areas that I want to grow, these are the areas that I want to improve, these are areas, then I say like it doesn't start with your job. I just wish my boss would take more responsibility. I just wish my wife would be a little bit more honest with herself. I just wish that Brandon would stay committed, you know? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I probably should work a little bit more on commitment, right? But I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's saying like, hey, no, you be responsible. You take responsibility. You be honest. You stay committed. And when you get better, your organization gets better. When you get better, your relationships will get better. When you get better, everything gets better. But the problem is we've been trained in society to believe that it's somebody else's responsibility to make me better. It's somebody else's responsibility to give me more money. It's somebody else's responsibility to take care of to pass me down something. And I get it. Like there are systemic things that we are battling as a country that, yes, there is indifference. There is less than, greater than. But what I'm saying is it is your responsibility to take the stand to make your life better. Only you can make your life better. And it doesn't have to start with material things and circumstantial things that have to, okay, if I had more money, if I had a bigger house, if I had a nicer car, okay, yeah, I mean, kind of. But you remember where we ended last week? It's like putting on a suit and calling yourself, saying that you're greater, but at the same time, like everything on the inside, is just kind of like rotting away, Say that again?
It's like changing the top layer, that's it.
Absolutely. So what we want to do tonight is go deeper. We want to go inside of you, and only you'll let me in, only you'll let yourself in, okay? So if I was to ask you, what or where, let's go where do you want to be this time next year, 2021? What's today's date? December 9th? Okay. December 9th. Let's just get comfortable. December 9th, 2021. Where do you want to be? You don't have to answer that right now. You need to be able to answer that, though. I'm not saying you have to answer that tonight. I'm not saying you got to know that answer and you have to be able to stand up and repeat it, 4 times backwards, standing on 1 foot. But I do believe that if you have no aim, if you have no direction, you have no idea where to go. When I wake up in the morning and I get dressed and I get in my car, unfortunately, I don't have a Tesla that can just take me wherever I want to go without me having to drive it, right? But I have to drive myself to a place called work, right? and I have to drop my kids off. I know where I'm going most of the time. I know the quickest route to get there. But you don't know how to create margin. You don't know how to create space. You don't know how to create budget room. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about just life. You don't know how to create what I call margin, space in your life for this if you don't know where you're going. So whatever your outcome is, whatever you're hoping, but I would hope that if I was to say, where do you want to be? I would hope that you wouldn't just land in a destination like, I want to live in New York City. I hope that you would start with something deeper, something more on the inside of you. Because if you want to get to where you want to be, you have to begin to understand who you are in hopes to get there, in hopes to get where you want to be, right? I've been saying this a lot, and some of you may have heard it. I believe we have like destination disease. It's like, and I'll just ask you tonight just to provoke conversation. What is success? Online. What is success? What is success? What is success to you in this room? What is success?
It's like when you achieve a goal that you set out for yourself.
Okay. Good. Great. I would agree. I would say that's part of success. Yes, absolutely. Others. What is success?
When your family's good.
Okay. Success is when family's good. Okay. What else? What is success? What is success?
It's a willingness to bear pain.
Okay. I like that. Okay. What else?
Taking care of your mother.
Take care of your mom. Success. I'm about to say it in the chat. What is success? Like seriously. Has anybody? How many of you been asked? I've been asked what success is for. You've been asked? Yeah.
It's a tough question because.
Okay.
To me, I don't know if I'm successful yet, so it's hard for me to answer.
Okay.
What success is.
Okay. Yes. Now I'm not trying to use you as my. This isn't one-on-one therapy in front of everybody on YouTube. But when you say, I don't know if I'm successful yet,
yeah.
Why?
Because I still have goals that I'm trying to reach.
Because you still have things you're trying to obtain.
Yeah.
Right. But what happens when you get there?
More.
Then you're going to keep going,
Yeah.
right? It goes back to a little bit what I talked about last week. When we have trained people to think what to think, not how to think. We are teaching people what to be, not who to be. We're teaching people. My son he's 5 years old, and me and him spend a lot of time together because of the situation with the pandemic and coronavirus and the whole thing, quarantine. And if we're not careful, we teach people that one day it's like a ladder, the ladder of success or the stairway of success. And once again, if I had a little whiteboard, I'd do the thing. But it's like, okay, and you go here when you're born, up one, and you learn how to what? Crawl. And then what? Walk. And then what? Talk. And then what? Right? And at some point, it's like we start saying 18 months and he doesn't know how to walk? Ooh. Whoa, bro, you just been to the doctor? His legs okay? Right? And so all of a sudden we start conditioning kids at 14 months, 15 months, oh my God. And it's unconsciously we start saying things. Man, I wonder why he's not walking yet. You're telling me he's 3 years old and he doesn't know how to say a complete sentence? Okay, right? So now, okay, it's great, it's cute, it's kids, it's 3, 5, 6, 7. He's 7, he doesn't know how to catch a football like that. He's 12 and he doesn't understand math like this. He's 6, right? And somehow you become 36 years old and then you take a look around and you say oh, well, some ways I'm comparing myself to the other 36-year-olds around, to the other 40-year-olds, to the other 24-year-olds. And in a world that is constantly highlighting fame, that's you can become the next famous whatever. I even said here tonight, and I say it as you're watching online, I even said like, hey, make sure you're sharing this. It's not about for fame. It's about for influence. When you understand when you understand who you are and who God's called you to be, and you want to make a difference in people's lives. If you were to ask me, what is success? I would agree with every single thing that you said because I would say it's a part of success. But ultimately, what I would say is that success looks like a journey of you growing every single day. There's no possible way that you could ever run out of growth. If you continually keep challenging yourself to grow, becoming better, pursuing your dreams, continue to go after it. Do you have slow days? Do you have low days? Do you have days where you don't feel like it? Absolutely. But you wake up the next day and you decide, this is the day that I'm going to do, that I'm going to become, that I'm going to go after. And you just kind of keep, you just keep going. And you have good days and you got bad days. You have good months and you got bad months. You have good years and you have bad years. But what you don't do is you don't compare yourself to the other people going on what they got going on around them, because you weren't created to compare yourself. Whose timeline are you on? Are we on somebody else's timeline? Because everybody's got a different perspective of what you should be doing. Oh, you're 27? Well, when I was 27. I talk to Torrin about this all the time. Because I'm like, bro, he's a little hard on himself. I don't think you mind me saying that. And I'm like, dude, when I was 22, oh God. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? I'm like, give yourself a little bit of grace, man. At the same time, don't stop challenging yourself to be the best person you could possibly be, right? So where do I start? Constantly challenging myself every single day to be the best person I possibly be. Getting direction, getting an aim, getting a focus, casting out. I'm terrible with like archery or whatever, but I mean, I've honestly never shot a bow in my entire life, okay? But they pull that thing back, right? There's resistance when they pull it back. You're trying to get it right and you pull it, and then what? You're not just shooting out in the air and like, oh, that was really cool. That went far, like 250 feet. That was great. You have a bullseye. You have a target that you're trying to hit. A lot of people are going to go, not this group, but a lot of people are going to go into 2021 and they're going to have no target. You don't fall to the level of your goals, okay? You fall to the level of your system to reach those goals. Goals are a good idea. It's great to have goals. I think everybody should have goals. I think goals are valuable. I think they're important. I think that they have taken a bad rap. I think they got a bad name. When you start talking about goals, people are like, oh gosh, here he goes with the goal talk again. Because I think people have polluted it. I honestly, I think they've perverted it in some ways. But I don't believe you can have great goals. But if you don't have direction and an aim and a system to help you get there, then all you have are these unobtainable ideas. It's like idealistic. It's like idealism, if you will. It's just like, yeah, okay. I'll use myself as an example, and then I'm going to have Lewis come up. I have been saying that I'm going to write a book. Some of you are in this room, and I've said it to you. I'm going to write a book this year. 2020 is the year I write my book. My book's not written. 2019, I think I said it. This is what I'm going to call it. Changed the name, didn't like it. Spent one day at a coffee shop, put out like 700 words, canned it the next day. It's like, I've been saying it for 2-3 years. Some of you are smiling because I've said it to you. And I feel weird inside, right? Because it was a goal. It wasn't smart. It was an idea. It was idealistic. It was just like, yeah, it makes you feel good. Like, hey, I'm going to write a book. Makes me feel good in the moment. Oh, dude, you're going to write a book? What are you going to call it? Well, I don't know. Just throw it out there because it was like sounded cool, right? So now I'm in December of 2020, going into 2021, and I literally wrote down, and I'm going to give you some practicals here in a little bit, but I literally wrote down, as I was preparing for 2021, things that Brandon wants to achieve, goals. Write your explicit word, book. Write your book. You fill in that word with, like, Stop, and this is what I said to myself, and this is what I'll say to you, because some of you are really good at this too. Stop coaching everybody else to do the things you aren't even doing. Because remember last week when I said your walk's not matching your talk? So then you get to this place where you're like, okay, like your credibility kind of starts. And it makes you feel good when you just keep, and people love you and they trust you. But at some point, you gotta fulfill the things that you're talking about, right? You gotta have some, not just a good direction, not just a good aim. You gotta have a good system that's gonna help you get there. After I interview Lewis, because we're gonna talk a little bit about this, I'm gonna give you some practical steps tonight. For all you practical people, I'm gonna give you good practicals, okay? All right, Lewis, you ready to do this, man? Can we put our hands together inside Studio B or even online for my friend Lewis? What's up, bro?
What up, brother?
Lewis has become.
Lewis, you gotta talk up because you don't have a mic on.
Oh, yep. Oh, yeah, and I'm gonna do this awkwardly to you, okay?
Don't get too close.
Tell me about.
How you doing?
And then we have this. This is nice, right?
Is this like some Harry Potter?
Yeah. No, we don't believe in Harry Potter. Right?
Oh, my bad.
No, I'm just kidding. Lewis has become a good friend of mine over the last little while. And I think, personally, that God strategically places people in your life for a reason. And sometimes it's just to be good friends. Sometimes I went to his gym one time, to be honest with you, and I worked out. And I'm just admit today, I've never been back. I've been back to say hello. I've been back to be like, bro, I love what you're doing. But he almost killed me. So, I saw, okay, maybe God's placed him in my life for other reasons. But I said off air, and I say publicly in this room, what the work that you're doing in Tacoma is admirable. And what you're doing to reach people and how you're doing, I know you're pretty humble about it, but I want to talk a little bit about new, right? Like starting new things, having new ideas.
Right.
But maybe there are people that are going to be watching clearly, and then people in here that might not know a little bit of your story. So maybe in a nutshell, how Tacoma, why a gym in Tacoma, and then I'm going to get to the deeper question in a minute. But just tell people who you are, what brought you here, why you, not necessarily why you're sitting here tonight, but like how your story is connected.
That's a pretty broad question. I'm just a Tacoma kid. I was born and raised here. Jefferson Elementary, Truman Middle School, Wilson High School. My family, a lot of people know Trufant family. Those are my cousins. I was fortunate enough to go to college for a scholarship, Central Washington, played football. Went to Portland State for 3 years. Had about 5 knee surgeries. I still have my chance in the NFL. I got a couple trials for the Jaguars and whatnot. But I grew up, I'm a Tacoma kid, Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, Trufant Family Foundation. So being just a product of the city was always instilled in me. It was something that I always believed in. I'm a product of people believing in me. So kind of when I became grown and kind of got stable and had like a decent living is what they say, I felt like I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. So it kind of took me on a different route. So what you see and what you see on social media and what you see what I'm doing now is just me kind of trying to fulfill my purpose.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell.
Yeah, great. Yeah. When you say purpose, what does purpose mean to you?
Purpose to me means, just what I was placed on this earth for. I feel like we all have gifts, we all have talents, and then we all have a purpose. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you can get rid of your distractions, you'll figure out what your purpose is.
Okay. You decide there's something greater for the city,
right,
and for you. You have an idea. Mm-hmm. How do you get from idea to practical? Hey, now we're partnering with Amazon. Hey, come on, bro! Like, chill out for a minute. Like what you're doing right now is unbelievable. Like, how do you go from like an idea? Because I know a little bit about your story.
Right.
Like you're doing workouts in gyms, and your clientele became too much, and you moved it to a park. You were doing it in your apartment complex. Like,
right.
Okay, these are all like, okay, it's an idea, but it didn't just jump to partnerships with the largest company in the world, you know. And I know I'm kind of being silly there, but but how did you go from like a good idea
Right.
to an action step?
Number one, my faith.
Okay.
I grew up in the church. I kind of got away from it as I grew older, but it's just my faith. That's in my family's bloodline. My grandma was, 7 days a week. My grandma on my biological father's side actually passed away in church catching the Holy Ghost.
Stop.
They thought she was having a heart attack.
No.
I swear.
What?
Louisiana, super southern, your
Yep.
old school black church.
Yeah.
They thought she was catching the Holy Ghost.
Half of this crowd don't even, when you say Holy Ghost, they're like,
Yeah.
Holy Ghost? What did I don't even know what the
Yeah.
Holy Ghost? Yeah, I got
my
you.
grandma on my father's side, Louis Davis Sr., she 7 days a week. I only got to meet her a few times.
Okay.
Yep, she was singing. Her daughter was singing, and they thought she was catching the Holy Ghost, but she was having a heart attack.
So faith played a huge part.
Major.
But that's like stuff that like people can't see, right?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
So how did you get from like, is this the dream? Is this, we talked about success.
Right.
Is this success?
To me,
Sure.
right now, absolutely.
Okay.
Success to me growing up, I wanted to be in the NFL. That was my vision when I was a child, and then my mother married into the Trufant family when I was super young, and then I got to see it. I was at every Seahawk game because of Marcus Trufant. That's my oldest cousin. I got to see what making it to the NFL could be, what it would do for you, your family, your city, and I got super close. But now, I get to wake up and live my dream every day. I get to help people. I get to, I feel like I'm in the NFL in my city.
Right.
Yeah, and I wouldn't take that. I would never want to play on Sunday compared to what I get to do every day.
How much does aim, how much does direction, how much would you consider yourself a guy that's like, I cast vision for where we're going? This is what I know. When the lockdown phase, whatever phase we're in, happened, you were like, bro, I just got out of a meeting and it's about to be crazy great,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, right.
Is that inside you? Do you have people around you that pull that out of you? Where does that come from?
I don't operate out of fear. That's just what I was born with. I don't come from fear. I feel like me and my family have been through every adverse situation you could put somebody through. So I don't operate out of that. I operate out of faith. I'm a very confident person. I feel like if you put 10 hurdles in front of me, I'm gonna run through the 11th.
Right.
That's just in me.
Sure.
So I don't know, man. It's just a blessing, and then my circle is everything. I have a strong team and a community that really believe in me.
Yeah.
So am I confident? Yeah. But that one split second that I may doubt myself, I can look to my left and my right, and everybody's like, "No, you're right."
What do you do to stay motivated?
See everything that people told me I couldn't be. I literally, I'm motivated myself, but it charges me up. I take what people say about me, what I can't be or what I shouldn't be or what I should have ended up as, and I turn it into fuel. I get a rise. I love the support, but I get more of a rise out of people telling me I couldn't do it.
So how? Because this is good. I like this because now we're giving. How do you turn that into fuel?
Because a lot of people, I feel like what a lot of people struggle with is naysayers and people that telling you, and it'll be the closest people to you.
Sure.
I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm turning the other leaf. I'm breaking a lot of trauma and a lot of things that would have held me back. A lot of people that can turn you left. I literally smile at it like, you thought I couldn't do it? Guess what? I did it twice as hard.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just a gift.
And that's what keeps you motivated. That's what keeps you going.
It's my family. It's a support. It's an equal balance. It's like a 50-50 between the people that believe in me and then everything that's happened to me to get to this point. Like, I turn it into I just want you to.
For sure.
I just want you to be like, what's next for him?
Right.
It charges me up.
And you're living that out. I mean, it feels like every day. I mean, I see something new, something fresh, right? Something that you're doing, which I think is amazing. I also think for a moment that there has to be, at some point, at what point did you make the decision that I don't know how this thing's going to work out,
Right.
but I'm going to continue to be faithful until, because it sounds like to me you don't know what the actual outcome is, which is a good thing, because you're growing daily, which is exactly what we've been talking about.
Right.
But how did you take that leap? Does that make sense? Like, how did you take that leap to say, this is it, this is what I'm doing?
It wasn't me personally.
Okay.
Honestly, it's just God. I feel like every point in my life up until this point, I've got to like where I thought I was supposed to go, and then I would get cut down. I get really close to getting that scholarship.
College.
And then I'll blow my knee up. I
Gotcha.
get really close to getting another scholarship at another school, blow my knee out. I get really close to signing with the NFL, blow my shoulder out.
Right.
It's just God, man. It's just, but all of that prepared me for what I'm dealing with now.
Right.
So what I thought was like success and the pinnacle and what my purpose was, it was just all preparing me for what I'm dealing with now.
Yeah. Okay, so tell the people who may be watching online, I know everybody in here, but hopefully this influences a lot of people in many different ways. So tell everybody, number one, what you're doing now, what you're excited about, what you're up to.
I ain't doing much, man.
Yeah, get out of here, bro. Cast a little vision to those people on how they can be a part.
Brandon, I'm not big on talking about myself.
I can tell. That's why I'm pulling it out of
You got
you.
to ask a better question.
So the gym is
It's closed.
it's closed.
Inslee. If you're watching this, come to Inslee. Can you get out
help
tent?
my brother out. But that didn't. That's what I'm saying. But that did not stop you.
No.
So why do people matter so much then? Like what you could have. The gym got closed. Physical fitness is shut down. You're still giving out turkeys.
Right.
You're doing toy drives. You're partnering with local brands. Why am I having to sell all this? I like know more about you than I know about my own ministry here I got going. It's admirable is what I'm saying.
I appreciate you.
And there has to become a point in every single person that watches it just says like, I'm willing to pursue. Do you think adaptability matters as being a leader?
It's mandatory. Because you're going to get everybody, I feel like you can have this plan, but it might start raining. It might be a hurricane. It might be a tornado. Like, you have to adapt. That's life. That's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Everything's not going to be sweet.
Right.
The road to the destination might be bumps, hills, whatever. You got to adapt to it, or else you're just going to be somebody that was like, well, I had this plan,
Right.
but then this happened.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear that.
And then shut it down.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
My grandma used to tell me everybody, excuse my language, excuses is like buttholes. Everybody got one.
That's true.
I learned that as a youngin.
Right.
I don't want to hear that.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for your investment into the city. More importantly, thank you for being my friend, bro.
I
Appreciate you, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
love you, bro. Come on. Lewis, on site, and many other things.
Oh, please.
Okay, so why do an interview? It's great. You brought your friend up. It's cute. It's a cool story. Love it. It wasn't. I did that because I'm giving you a practical example of what it can look like to have an idea, and if success in his mind was the NFL and no other way, then this joker is not successful. Right? I don't know his full story, but if success is married by 24, not successful. If it's to have $100,000 to own 6 homes by 29, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is like we have these false ideas that have unconsciously been layered on us since we were a young kid to become successful, and success looks like what everybody else says it looks like, and it doesn't look like it's what you think it looks like. And so success becomes outcome-driven, destination, a place that I will get to one day, and until then, this all is hogwash. Hogwash, such a weird word, This all is just null and void. It just doesn't matter. And I would dare to say that most enjoyable part of this whole thing is actually the journey that it takes to get there. But because we have no vision, and because we have no direction, and because we have no aim, and because we have no systems to achieve the goals, then we hate the process. Nipsey Hussle said it best, right? The marathon continues, right? Just to continue to enjoy the process, to trust, not only to enjoy but to trust the process, to actually trust. You're going to hear about Josh in a couple weeks. Josh can come up and he's going to help too. But when I think about Josh's story, I just say to myself, he's here tonight. Why? Trust the process. Chemo, trust. I look at everybody. I think I know everybody pretty well in this room. And I just say, through just little bits of your story, you're here. Michael is here because he trusts the process that although man is done with you, God is never done with you. He's never done with you. But you can't just live from this place, although it is a good saying, hey, God's got me. Yeah, he does. My boy Chris, for fantasy, God's got me. But at some point, you got to change the roster, bro, because you got people on bye. You know what I mean? At some point, you got to pick up players. I'm just using fantasy right now. Sorry if anybody doesn't. At some point, you got to set your alarm clock. At some point, you got to get yourself dressed. At some point, you don't just appear wherever there is one day. It's how did I get here? Right? It's practical every single day. So, I promised you that I would give you a few practicals. How are we doing on time, by the way? I want to honor time here. 36 minutes? Oh, this one's going to be a little longer, okay? So we're going to give you 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes if you're watching online. 5 more minutes in here. We're going to 5 more minutes. Classic pastor talk. 5 more minutes. Just give me 5 more minutes. Can I get the keyboard? Come up? Yeah, preach? Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me ask you a question, and this is homework. I know we don't like that word, but I have done this every year for the last 5 years. I believe in it. I think it's valuable. I think it's practical, and it gives you direction. It gives you vision. It gives you an understanding of what you want to accomplish. Number one, what is your word for the year? I believe every single person in this room should have a word or a phrase and something. I don't care where you get it from. A McDonald's commercial, a newspaper, an ad. You were driving down the road, you saw a billboard. You were reading the Bible and something popped out at you. You were listening to your favorite band, and they said something that just resonated with you. As I look back over my life in the past, the last few years, these words and phrases for the years have come from the craziest places. I was working out 2 years ago in the gym, and the phrase, I don't even know the song, anti-majority behavior, just came on my headphones. And as I'm working out, I felt a prompt, a whisper, I'm a Jesus guy, from the Lord that's your phrase for the year you're heading into. Anti-majority behavior. What does that even mean? Right? The year after that, the word was mystery. You're going to walk into a season of mystery. You're not even going to understand how things are going to happen. Was 2020 not the biggest mystery of our life? Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I believe in this so much. I don't believe in it like it's psychic. I don't believe in it like it's magic. I believe that it's powerful. I believe in the gifts of the Spirit from God, and I believe that God implants things inside of you that gives you hope, that gives you strength, that gives you direction, that gives you places to go and things to look for. So this year, my word is abundance, and the Lord took me to. I'm kidding. When I say took me, legitimately, I've never read this scripture in my life, and I'm a pastor. Romans 15:13. And as I was reading through Romans 15:13, the phrase literally was not even just abundance, it was super abundance. And it wasn't just with money. It's not, when I say abundance, I don't mean just oh, great, Brandon's probably going to get a new house next year. Okay, that'd be great, right? But I'm saying an abundance of peace, an abundance of joy, an abundance of true friends, an abundance of influence, and an abundance of opportunity, an abundance of ideas, abundance. And when I looked at my life when I received that word back in October, I felt like I was the farthest thing from abundance. I'm telling you, abundance, and then you start checking your accounts in every area, and you're like, this feels like there's no abundance anywhere. This is dried up, right? Because God's not looking at where you are. He's looking at where he wants to take you. He's looking at where you're going. And you don't even have to be a Jesus follower to, I believe, is better as a Jesus follower, but you don't even have to be a Jesus follower to believe in some of this stuff we know. When I say energy, I believe that where the energy comes from, the cosmos, the whatever, you can say it's from the stars. I believe it's from God, right? But whether it's good vibes and great energy, or whether it's the Holy Spirit that lives inside of you, it pushes, it propels, it's the universe's way, right? That's science language. It's God's way of just, this is the plan I had for you, right? Everybody in here, and I really want to encourage you. I'm not going to put you on a timetable because that's not the way I work. I don't work like a teacher who follows up on your homework. If you don't want to be better, you're wasting your 40 minutes of your time. But everybody in here should have a word or a phrase for the year. Number 2, everybody should ask this question. Then what needs to die in me this year? Word for the year, phrase for the year. And what needs to die in me this year? If you're online, what needs to die in you this year? What are things in your life that you know in order to get that phrase for the year, that word for the year, whatever it is, you gotta kill that thing. For me, because all I can talk about is me in here to give you hope. For me, my word was abundance, and I have to kill procrastination. I have to kill it. Because I keep putting stuff off. My book, traveling, new opportunities. Why? Because I'm scared of rejection. What if people say no? What if it's a bad idea? What if you fail? What if you lose? And so then you just begin to put things off. And the way that I'm going to kill procrastination is by being confident. So you can't just ask, what needs to die in me this year? You have to ask a very important question. And how am I going to kill it? Right. David stepped out in faith to kill the Goliath, but he had to grab 5 stones and toss them up to knock him down. And not only did he have to use a slingshot and some rocks, he had to walk over to it, use its own sword, and cut its head off. Like that's how you, like that type of killing. Like what am I going to do that I'm tired of this thing laying dormant for what I call sleeping giants. Giants that we knocked down in 2014 and they appear again in 2020. And you thought you killed it. You didn't kill it. It was asleep because you didn't kill it. You didn't walk over to it, use its own thing that it tried to destroy you with, and cut its head off. Right? Procrastination for me is that person. Number 3, within the same thing is, what do I want to be birthed in me? Birth is a weird word. But conceive, come alive. Right? I think there are dreams and visions in every single person watching who comes across this in here that is just sitting in there. What do I need to be birthed in here? What do I need to come alive in me this year? And how am I going to conceive it? Yeah. And how am I going to do it? What steps am I going to take? Because this is great. You can have this wonderful goal, right? But if you don't know how, the things that you're going to do to get yourself there, then you'll fall to the level of your system, not to the level of your goal. Great idea, terrible system, right? So this is where responsibility matters, right? That's why week 1 matters. Responsibility, honesty, and commitment, because you're going to have to be responsible enough to do this on your own time. You're going to have to be honest enough with yourself to say, like, this needs to die. I got to kill it this way. This needs to be birthed. This is how I'm going to do it. And number 3, you got to be committed throughout the whole year. When you pitched an idea and somebody was like, you know what I'm saying? When you knocked on 37 doors and nobody opened, but the 38th door. That's how I think. That's just how I believe. How many doors you knock on? 40. There's 41. Right? I mean, that's just little fundamental things. I said fundamental. I was thinking about this, and I'm going to leave you on this. I'm trying to keep close to my 5 minutes, and then I'm going to give you a chance for questions. It might take us a little bit longer, but if you don't have any questions, we're going to be okay. You teach what you know, but you produce who you are. This is good. This is great. Okay, cool. Like, you've read some books. That's great. But like, in order to reproduce, in order to create a system of people of influence, of I don't like followers, but of people that trust you, that believe in you. You can teach what you know, right? But you have to produce who you are, like the person that God has created you to be. That's why you have to discover, who am I? Who am I? Who has God created me to be? What is my word for the year? What needs to die in me? What needs to be birthed in me? Notice, last week was all about why this matters. This week, it's time to get to know you. It's time to get to know the real you. Not the you that you teach people, the you that you reproduce in people. The you that people are naturally gravitating to, the ones that they want to be like. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Preach, Pastor.
Thanks, bro.
Come on, man.
That means a lot.
Hey.